Hey Viking fans, I did 2 videos on the depth chart yesterday, but I left one guy off the list. Now it's time to correct that. Let's talk about it next. Cue the music. Right, the weekend's almost here. Skull Vikings, let's hear it one more time. Skull Vikings. Alright, let's get ready. Welcome to Minnesota Sports Talk. I'm your host, Dave. You can follow me on Twitter, TikTok, and Facebook. Skull World. And make sure you hit subscribe, like, and leave a comment below. That way you enter my contest. The rules are in the description below. Now let's get started. Another camp, another day. However, I want to talk about just one guy who I left off my list yesterday. I don't know what I was thinking. I have no idea what I was thinking. I saw him on the depth chart, and it just didn't resonate, and I didn't even talk about it. And I apologize. I'm making amends today. I am making amends today. I don't know why I did it. But hey, that guy, let's talk about him. Let's talk about Myron Mitchell. Let's put him up there. Myron Mitchell on the team last year, practice squad guy, actually dressed for a game. He has a game under his belt. He wore purple on Sunday. That's something. That's something. I went to watch some UAB. That's where he played college football. Went to watch some video of that. Now, there's a lot of things being said about him at camp. Well, there's not a whole lot. So maybe there's one tweet a day. Maybe there's a video that comes out. There's a video of him running a 15-yard dig route to perfection, making a diving catch that some receiving website used as an example on how to do a 15-yard dig route. So that's pretty awesome. So let's go through some tweets just to stir up some talk. I got Myron Mitchell. He's a second-year wide receiver, developmental player who was on the practice squad last year but showing promise. Here's the Vikes insider. Wide receiver Myron Mitchell burns cornerback Ty Smith deep on a go route for a big gain. Jalen Naylor, Tristan Jackson, and Myron Mitchell have all had some good reps at camp, apparently. Just a stacked room, so some interesting prospects will be available. It's a deep roster, and people might chip away at our depth, and some of these guys might not be able to make the practice squad. Wide receiver Myron Mitchell continued his sneaky good camp today, extremely quick and very shifty, dynamic route runner. He got open downfield multiple times a day, getting underthrown by both Mon and Mannion. Go figure. Myron Mitchell could be doing even better if Mon and Mannion could actually hit him. Let's see if they can do it in preseason. Let's see if Myron Mitchell can stand out in preseason. Longtime star cornerback Patrick Peters not only mentors young Vikings DBs, but also their young wide receivers. This is him quoting Myron Mitchell. This is from Chris Thomason from the Pioneer Press. He knows what he's talking about, said second-year man Myron Mitchell. He's as smart as a coach, so any advice he does give us, we definitely take into consideration. So he listens to his elders. Anyways, he takes it in. Apparently, he's learned. He actually is apparently known as a good route runner, and I love good route runners because we had Diggs, we had Thielen, and now we have Jefferson. I don't know if KJ Osborne has met that yet, but he's taken off. Myron Mitchell, man, showed up 5th on the depth chart. 5th or 6th. 5th on the depth chart, him and BC Johnson. Luke Braun from Locked On Sports. Myron Mitchell is having the most random God camp. Laugh out loud, he says. Myron Mitchell really is 3 times the guy he was last year. He's working. Also, Luke Braun. Viking insider wide receiver Myron Mitchell is such a good and quick route runner. He beats Harrison Hand for the touchdown. That was one day ago. Awesome. Vikings Insider. It should be interesting to see how many wide receivers the Vikings put on the initial 53-man roster, assuming the team takes 7 wide receivers. 7. I talked about it in my last 53-man. I did not have Myron Mitchell on the list, though. I don't know. I've done you wrong. Maybe he will be. Assuming the team takes 7 wide receivers where there's more than normal, they still have to cut 3 of these names. Cut 3 of these guys: Jalen Naylor, BC Johnson, Myron Mitchell, Tristan Jackson, Dan Chisena, Albert Wilson. Who do you cut? I guess I'd say Dan Chisena. Let's say you keep Myron Mitchell. On this list, I have Jalen Naylor, BC Johnson, and Myron Mitchell. If I cut Myron Mitchell and I keep 3, then I'm talking Jalen Naylor, BC Johnson, and Tristan Jackson. If I value Albert Wilson as a punt returner, then I'm keeping Jalen Naylor, BC Johnson, and Albert Wilson. But if it's true and Myron Mitchell is better than Jalen Naylor, it's tough for me to say that, but I did look at his tape in college and I was impressed. And we'll talk about that in a little bit, of why he may have not been drafted, maybe why he was looked over. His production wasn't there, but hey, one of the years was COVID. Played 9 games. Now this is what his prospect looked like. Let me see if there's any other tweets. No. This is what his prospect sheet looked like. The bench press, 7 reps. Broad jump, this is a broad jump 10 feet 4 inches. Not bad. He didn't have any of these shuttle or 3 cone because his 40 time he apparently pulled his hammy. 189 pounds. Arms 32 1/8, which isn't too bad for a smallish receiver. Wingspan 76 1/8. Vertical jump 34. Not too explosive. This is what his pro day was written up, released by UAB at the time. 5'11.7. Weight 189. Bench press 7. Vertical jump 34. Broad jump 10 and 4 inches. Still, it's pretty good though. 40-yard dash not available. I did see somewhere where it was a 4.48. So, game speed, he looks that fast. Mitchell tweaked his hamstring during the 40-yard dash and was unable to complete drills following the minor injury, along with an impressive broad jump. Mitchell has great hands, which he put on display for the Blazers with one amazing catch after another during a UAB career. I am not going to lie, man. His highlight tape is a bunch of amazing catches. And it's a pretty decently long tape. It's not like, hey, there's 5 catches, it's tough to have 5 amazing catches in your career, but he has like in a season. So that was pretty impressive. Here's his stats in college. So in 2019, that just means it was a bowl game, that asterisk. Junior year, 13 games, 34 receptions, 554 yards, 16.3 average, 4 TDs. 2020, shortened by COVID. Could see how he would have done better if he was able to play more games. 9 games, 29 receptions, 436 yards, 15 average, 3 touchdowns. I assume that they probably ran the ball more, but their quarterback could actually throw. He did have to make some amazing catches, though, and he's gotten open, and he broke some open field tackles, and he was good in space. There's a lot of good things on his highlight reels. Don't know anything else about him, though, man. Don't know anything else about him. You're not able to see this. I don't have it up for you, but let me put Myron back up there. He deserves his day. There's Myron Mitchell. So there's some things that was written about him back in 2020. He has a pretty big write-up. Route running, Mitchell is a quick, twitchy athlete, but has room to grow when it comes to executing routes. He was not asked to run a very diverse route tree in college, so it's just about learning how to apply the physical gifts to running routes. His traits suggest he can be an effective running routes to all levels of the field. So that's what it was. His evaluation was that he's a route runner. That's great, man. I'm looking at this guy now. I'm looking at this guy, especially since he's on a depth chart that high. Hands Mitchell has some challenges with drops in 2019, but that was erased with improvements in 2020. Mitchell makes some of the most impressive grabs you'll ever see through contact and down the field. His ability to do that speaks to his plucky hands and strong grip. Why didn't more people see this guy? I don't know. Separation. Mitchell has the agility and quickness needed to be a dynamic separator. He just needs to hone in on the route running techniques to fully unleash that. Mitchell has enough speed to challenge defenses down the field, which is a major asset for the ability to snap off routes and get open at all levels of the field. With improved technique in terms of timing and setting up corners to the routes, Mitchell has what it takes to create consistent separation. That's great to hear, man. Route running, it's the theme of this guy. His release package was Justin Jefferson, if you heard me before, is amazing at. Thielen's good at it too. Justin Jefferson is just like freaking explosive. You cannot cover that guy coming off the line. So this is what this is talking about. Mitchell is able to reduce his surface area and takes steep angles off the line of scrimmage to clear tight press coverage. With that said, he doesn't have the size or functional strength to clear jams with power and is reliant on that finesse. Mitchell does well to vary his releases, which helps him stay on schedule. So he's sneaky. He basically he changes his moves at the line. Press coverage bothers him. Run after the catch. Mitchell is quick, twitchy, and bursty with the ball in his hands. He sees the field well, and his creativity as a ball carrier. With that said, Mitchell isn't much of a tackle breaker, and he isn't quite as dynamic as you want him to be given the style of play. You know, that's why he's at UAB, man, and not Miami or not at Alabama. Ball skills. He has come down with some of the most impressive acrobatic catches I have ever seen. He's an ultra focused at the catch point, and he does a great job tracking and adjusting to the football. Given to his lean frame, he surprises what he's able to do through contact and in a crowd when it comes to coming down with the football. This is all over his highlight reel, man. It's just amazing catch after amazing catch. Why didn't I notice this guy before? I wasn't a podcaster when he was drafted, so I wasn't looking at Myron Mitchell. Football IQ. Mitchell enters the NFL with modest experiences, having only 2 seasons at UAB and spending time after a few seasons at community college. He found most of his success relying on his traits and his room to grow when it comes to getting the technical side of things down. So that explains community college. You only played 2 years at UAB. Versatility. Mitchell spent most of the time in the slot at UAB, but he has experience out wide. While his production was modest, 22 yards kick return, 4.4 yards punt return, he has experience returning punts and kicks. Mitchell's appeal as a weapon all levels of the field. I think he's a kick returner just from the video, but 4 yards per 4 and 3 in his 2 years as punt returner. So that explains why, Amir Smith-Marsette's winning that job. Competitive toughness. I love the way Mitchell competes. He has a slender build and doesn't have great functional strength. He only had 7 reps on the bench, which is more than I can do, but definitely more than I ever could at my prime. But 7. But you have to love how fearless he is and this alpha mentality he has on the field. He gets after his blockers and battles. Big playability. Mitchell's speed and ball skills make him an appealing vertical threat. He averaged almost 16 yards per reception in college. Mitchell has the ability to produce after the catch and his explosive plays in the return game. That just is glowing. That was from the Draft Network. The Draft Network. I've read them before, but hey, the Draft Network, man, says all good things about this guy. And he stuck with us on our practice squad. He's now getting a chance, and he's appeared for the first time on the depth chart at number 5. We're tied with BC Johnson if you think about it in tiers, so 5th or 6th. So that's Myron Mitchell, man. Let's see. I'm gonna be looking for number 87. I don't know if he's still number 87. I don't know. This is from last year preseason, I think. So if he's still number 87, I'll be looking for that number. Should probably know that. But hey, I hadn't looked at him, man. I didn't, even when I saw his name yesterday, I didn't say anything. My reasoning behind it is because he's a veteran coming back. Even though, can you call a practice squad guy who played one game or dressed for one game a veteran? But he had like that seniority effect that maybe a Jalen Naylor is going to be behind him. But I thought he was going to be like 7th. But instead, that's Tristan Jackson, who again is his first year with the Vikings. But Myron Mitchell was with us last year. He knows around the block a little bit. Both him, Tristan Jackson, Jalen Naylor are all performing. All our receivers are performing. And Amir Smith-Marset is returning punts. He's listed number 1 on the depth chart, so he's got that advantage. But hey, I'm going to be looking for Myron Mitchell. Honest to God, go look up Myron Mitchell highlights. You'll enjoy some UAB monster highlights of awesome catch after awesome catch. Hey, that is Skull World, brought to you by Minnesota Sports Talk. I'm your host, Dave. You can follow me on Twitter, TikTok, and Facebook at Skull World. You know what? Make sure you hit subscribe, like, and comment. Enter my contest. I want to give away free stuff to you on game day against the Packers. Skull Vikes. See you next time. Cue the music.